All right, what is going on, everybody? This is episode 4 of the Primecast. All right, the show where we come here, we talk to you about the current state of Paragon The Overprime, and we give our thoughts and our opinions and our constructive criticism. That's the biggest thing, constructive criticism on the game to help the community and also help the devs understand where we are as a community and how we feel about the game. So without further ado, let's introduce who we got here. We got a great cast. We'll start off with Dapper. Dapper, how are you doing?
Hello, everybody. I'm here for the first time on this Primecast, and I'm excited to be here as a major fanboy of Paragon The Overprime. So I'm excited to be able to voice some of my opinions.
Oh, that's correction. Episode 5. Episode 4 was last week, guys. All right, episode 5.
All
right. Yes. All right.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Menace Rex. I'm one of the Paragon partners, avid gamer of the game. I play almost daily. You can find me on almost any social media, Menace Rex.
All right. And I am the Beat of Wolverine, your Michigan Wonder, and very excited to be here as again. The show is great. I love doing it, love talking this game, and I can't wait to get into it because we got a spicy episode for you because Paragon The Overprime released a roadmap for us to talk about. Before we even get into it, what are your initial thoughts, guys? Dapper?
I mean, this roadmap is massive. Just as a quick, things, new skins, new characters, reasons to play ranked. They mentioned the majority updates throughout the year, but also Q1. So there's just so much information in all of these informations we were given. So knowing some of what is to be revealed, that got me really excited to prep for it. And, considering we're barely over a month into the game's life cycle, both Paragon and Predecessor, but barely a month in, and we're already getting all this information, this is nuts.
Yes. Menace?
Yeah, definitely. If I could describe it in one word, I would be maybe chunky. There's a lot of stuff that's in the near future, and then there's stuff that's foresighted later on down the line, which I definitely enjoy. It caught me by surprise. And initially I had only seen the first image on the slideshow. I didn't know that there was the rest of it. So I sort of got blew away by the storm whenever it popped up for me.
Right. There is a lot here. That's, chunky and nuts. That's a great way to describe what we got going on here. And I know Dapper's a fanboy, and I know Menace is the partner, so it's just gonna instantly paint me as the negative Nancy. And I feel bad for that because I'm not. I really want this game to succeed, but I almost wonder if it's too much. Did they bite off more than they can chew? Now they've proven in the past that they can do a lot really quick. But as we get into this, and the one thing I want to bring up, they're showing these heroes. They're showing 2 heroes a month, right? And that's almost equal to a hero every 3 weeks. Now, Dapper, I know you didn't play Paragon originally, but that's what Paragon did, and Paragon wasn't able to keep up with that, and they weren't able to do it great. We were coming out with busted heroes that were just people hated, And speaking of busted heroes, the first one they talked about. Talk about busted heroes. What? Let's just get into it. You keep talking, but I'm gonna switch the scenes here.
It's definitely interesting. I use the phrase double-edged sword so many times whenever I'm talking about Pred or whenever I'm talking about Overprime. This double-edged sword mechanic where it can be really good or it can be really bad. But go ahead. Are you pulling up the image?
Yeah, it's up there now.
Yeah, you got it. Okay,
yeah. Huddy, thank you for that resub, man. You're a beast, brother. It's episode 5. That's my bad.
Yeah, as for the double-edged sword, that's, always the risk when not only are you revamping a franchise, but also when you're ambitious. As you had mentioned, Bearded, Soul Eve has had a record of following up with a majority of the things they talk about. In a 6-month span, they redid the entirety of the map, reskinned some of the effects, did a whole new UI, did new jungle monsters, that whole thing in a 6 months period. And it's not like they just reskinned the map. No, they changed the literal geometry of the map. So if you want to look at like the character lists and how many are coming out so often, I wasn't here when it was Overthrow, which is before Overprime.
Right.
And I heard like some of the characters on that list that I'm seeing, you got Iggy and Scorch, you got Crunch, you got Greystone, you got Richter, you got Drongo, you got Wukong. I heard that those were in Overthrow already. So it's not like they're doing these characters from scratch. They've had this probably in the backline for quite some time. So it's not too insane, in my opinion, that they're really releasing this many. And they're not setting a standard by saying like, this is what we are going to continue doing for the first 6 months. This is our plan. That's all they're saying. They're not setting up like monthly double release. If in looking at like their original characters, Mako, which is adorable as hell, by the way, and Adele, which is the one I'm scared about as the biggest double-edged sword. Those are 3 months apart from each other. So those are pretty average release schedules for original characters.
Right. Now you say this, right? Now we're to today's date. If you're watching this live, it is January 9th. Okay. And again, I don't want to be painted as a negative Nancy, but that's really with the setup I have here. I'm coming in as the negative guy here. I'm just going to own it, I guess. And we had Jelly Knees on show. I think it's episode 3 or whatever. We had Jelly Knees here, and he even brought it up. They said they're going to bring out one hero a month, right? And they came out December 8th. It's already a month, and we haven't had a hero. Like, we don't have that one hero a month.
In all fairness, I would consider Xena to be the December character because there was the final beta test, and she was added during the middle of that. I know it was end of November.
That's November. You can't count that as December.
I know
you can't count that as December.
I understand. And you know what? For the people like, oh, we didn't get one in December. Well, of course you didn't get one. It's the first month of release with already Xena a month beforehand. Plus, it's the holiday season and New Year's. So, I mean, we can harp on producers all we want. We can do that. We can. It's easy.
I'm just saying they're the ones that put. They're the ones that said, hey, this is what we're doing. This is our schedule. This is what we're doing. And they didn't do that, right? That's the issue. And I've seen this as a Fault fan. I've seen where the community will take your words and they're going to hold on to them. And if you don't uphold that, that's where the issue, then they're going to use them against you, right? That's the double-edged sword that we're talking about. Like, I've seen this. It's happened. And I'm not saying you're wrong with the holiday season, but you said, hey, one hero a month, and then you also released December. So you all right, and you should have known in the back of your head mind, like, all right, then maybe you shouldn't have released Xena. You should have saved Xena for December, not put her in November. Then you had a hero already ready to go. Here we go. Here's your hero. She's already done. Because she wasn't needed in the final test. So I'm just saying there's things that could have been done to help that, and then it wouldn't put them in any situation to feel like, hey, you didn't keep your word. So
fair. I mean, understandable to have that devil's advocate point of view,
right?
But they're even going above and beyond if they follow the roadmap currently given. They're going above and beyond what they were saying. They said one a month. Yeah, we missed the first one, but then we get one in January, and then two, and then an original. Then two more. Then two, then one. So technically, if we want to just, crap all over solely, they're breaking their promise by going above and beyond, but it's not what they said. And that's the one thing that, like, it's hard as content creators, but also community members to hold on corporations and like the people putting effort into these games is like, yeah, they said things, but like, sometimes mistakes happen. Obviously that's not great to have the first month without one, but seeing what is to come, there's so much to look forward to,
right?
That like, it's understandable.
No, I mean, and I'm very happy as a gamer. I'm very happy to see all of this stuff that's here, right? But again, playing the devil's advocate, like they put the notion, hey, one a month. They weren't able to do that. Now all of a sudden, because they weren't able to do that, now if it was just the holidays was the reason, perfect. But we don't know that's the reason they weren't able to give us a hero for the month of December, right? We don't know that was the exact reason. So you almost wonder, is it going to be an issue going forward when you do have the 2 a month? You know, we got 2 coming up in January, right? Is that what, if I remember that right? We'll get farther into it.
Which is Wukong.
1 in January. So,
yeah.
All right. So yeah, but we got 2 coming up in 1 month. You know, coming up here, and we'll get into it farther here when I switch over to the scenes here. But there's a lot going on. But like you said, we got new heroes, we got new skins, we got competitive rank reward, we got Q1 2023 major updates, we got major upcoming updates, and we got the official launch. So let's switch back here. Let's see what the second little image we got going on here. This will break down the heroes, what we got. All right, so Wukong coming in January, Iggy and Scorch coming in February, with Crunch coming in February. What are your guys' thoughts on just the heroes they're choosing? Do you think the heroes they choose will fit the playstyle of what the game is, or going to, like, let's say, counter metas that we currently have? Or do you think that they're just kind of like randomly RNG? What we're gonna put in here?
Dapper, if you want to take it off. Okay.
No. You haven't spoken much yet.
I got you. So I've been looking at every single character, and if we're going to go strictly off of this current meta, I feel like there's characters that will work. I feel like there's characters that won't work. And I'll just not. I don't want to jump across the board here, but like Wukong, I think he's absolutely going to fit in the meta. The game is fast.
He's going to jump across the board, so why not?
Yeah, he's going to jump across the board. But there's heroes like Aurora, who I feel like will get a higher pick rate just because of Wukong, just because she has mobility too, but she has the CC where he doesn't as much. So he could be, or she could be, excuse me, that counterplay to. As far as Iggy and Scorch, I don't really know. I guess it's going to be what version of Iggy they're going to go for. Because if it's OG Paragon Iggy, where the ultimate was the belching flame breath from Scorch, that might be in the tough spot. Same thing with Crunch. I feel like Crunch might be in the tough spot as well. But honestly, for some characters, it's just too soon to tell. But I'm definitely excited to see the support heroes coming in. I know Richter is a highly demanded one. People have been talking about Adele, since the game even first came out. So it'll be good to see them in rotation.
Let's talk about that real quick. You brought up Adele. Like, that was their first announced OP or IP, right? And it's out of all the heroes that we have now, it's the last one that's going to be released out of the ones that we know of, right? Obviously, there's going to be more going down the line, but right now, currently to this point, it is the last. She's the last hero that we're going to finally get released. Why? Why do you think that happened? What happened there to where she was the first announced and now the last one released?
If I had to get it, for me, it has to be at least two different reasons. One, there's something technically wrong, and they're just having some issues, figuring out her kit or whatever bugs may be in place, or she may be too strong for the current roster that's in release right now.
Okay.
Because the supports are already in the limelight with only 4 or 5. So maybe she would have been too strong against all those other supports. So that's at least my speculation.
Dapper, what are your thoughts?
On top of all of those reasons, which is 100% correct. For what we have, from what I know about her kit, she's actually meant to be an offlaner, and with offlaners already being in a tough position, adding more with Greystone, and for the people that want to play Richter, then you got those cheese lords that are gonna play Iggy in the offlane. Adele would do really well against all of those, from what we know her theoretical kit is. But as we talked about earlier, one of the things coming this year is talk about official release, and with her being very important to the face of Paragon, she might be the character that this is all speculation from me. My speculation.
Yeah.
She might be the character that comes on release, which is why she's coming later.
Yeah.
At this point. Obviously, for people that we're following, we wanted Adele earlier because it's like, the first IP, as you mentioned. Why isn't she here earlier? But it might be because she's going to come with official release. And if that's the case, that's going to be so hype and bring a lot of attention.
Yeah. No, and that's very similar to what I guess not the exact words of official release, but like I was thinking maybe they're holding her for so long just because she is that marketing point, right? Like we know that she's the first, IP. People know about her, so now people want her. So it's like you gave a tease, like, well, okay, when we getting her? All right, this hero. All right, well, when we getting her? Well, this hero. Well, when we getting her? And she says it's still a question. It's still a conversation piece, which is just self-marketing. So I mean, obviously now we know when we're getting her, so it's a little bit different. But like, it's still like she's still that self-marketing. Man, I can't wait till Adele. Adele's supposed to be this great hero, whatever. So we'll get farther into it. So no, I agree.
My only counter is on the latest episode of OP the Record. They did say Mako was like their
mascot.
They said mascot. They didn't use the word poster, but I would feel like that's diving into the same realm though. If
but I think they're taking the word not I don't want to say literal mascot, like in a sense, but like when you think mascot, you're not thinking of a human being, right? Of somebody like, hey,
yeah,
you are like. You could be a poster boy or a poster child or whatever in that situation. But that's different than being a mascot. A mascot is literally like when you think of a mascot of a football game, right? You have your Eagles, right? You're an Eagles fan. You have your eagle that literally sits on the sideline. That eagle doesn't do shit. They're literally just a person that like, hey, I'm hyping you all up. I'm the mascot. You aren't the football player, right? Yeah. Adele's the football player, right? Mako's the mascot. That's what I think. When they said mascot, that's what I thought of. Like, hey, a little furry animal. This is so cute. It's our little friend. It's like it's the family pet. In a sense, like, hey, that's our mascot.
Another way to interpret it is when they say our mascot, they might not mean Soul Eve or they might not think Paragon mascot. They meant like as producers, he's our little cute little mascot sort of thing. Right. That's another way to interpret that.
That's true. That is true.
I mean, another weird, interesting thing is that they're planning, from what they mentioned in the dev video, is Mako supposed to be a DPS mage support. Mm-hmm. And they even give a scale for his character model, which is interesting, which is smaller than Faye. Yeah. Like, hold up. And she's already flying too. Like, how is short Mako going to be? That's concept art, so not official. They might change his height.
Right.
But I mean, looking at this list of characters, they're doing it in a very interesting manner of who's being released when. Wukong we know is coming out. He's good because he's going to keep that mobility sort of thing up. They even mentioned about how they want him to be sort of a pseudo split pusher / backline diver, which is really good because we only really have two of those, which is Countess and Kalari, and both of them kind of do it in a mediocre way. So with Wukong's theoretical mobility of going over a fight, who knows? He's going to be a good backline there. But then we get to the next release, which I think will shake up the game a lot more than people realize. As Menace mentioned, depending what variation of Iggy, if they do turrets with Iggy, no more sprinting around the map, no more blind sprinting. It's gonna force people to play smarter, because if you're blind sprinting through mid lane, there might be a turret in that bush you don't know, and suddenly you're rooted while sprinting.
I didn't even think about that. I'm sorry to cut you off, but a turret in the bush, completely stealth, yeah.
Oh yeah, because that's the thing Paragon didn't have, bushes. Yeah. So now with bushes, an Iggy can sit in a choke point, and as you're running, who knows how many turrets, if he has turrets. If he gets 3 turrets like he did in Fault, you got 3 turrets and an Iggy sitting in a bush. You go to push Prime, you're gonna cut it off there. Like,
if it's a flame throwing turret, does that make it a burning bush?
I mean, maybe. Maybe. But
forest fire in Paragon.
But with those two being put together between Iggy, the slow-moving area control character, and then Crunch, a Crunch with sprint mode is going to be terrifying, because he's already got that full board dive at people. Yeah. So you do double forward Crunch into the knock-up. With sprint mode, you could be in a fight mid lane. Half a second later, you're already in solo lane. And people said characters moved fast in Overprime already. Like, Crunch is going to use that mobility like crazy.
Okay, but now again, I make me the negative Nancy again though. But is that going to be an issue in the game? To have a hero that can just be across the map that quick. Like we had that with Fault. Fault had it to where Crunch was able to literally just the way he was able, his kit was set up when he released. He was able to basically just keep all the way dash all the way across the map. From left solo lane to dual lane, he was able to and just keep going, and it was insane how that it was crazy. So obviously things got tweaked and it wasn't like that bad. But when it was released, that's like when he was released for Fault, that was like OP style movement. And if we're thinking OP style movement, like that just can be like now added on top of that, like that's a little like that could be a bit much.
Like, it can be terrifying, but people don't realize how actually small the map is for Overprime. So yeah, you could double dash and then sprint, but then you've got your ultimate and your dash on cooldown. So by the time you're getting to lane, it might be coming off cooldown, but it's probably going to be on cooldown, so it wouldn't be worth double dashing across the map constantly. So sprint mode's still just the best alternative there.
Right.
I think he's strong. Oh, sorry, Menace.
No,
real quick, guys. Odo's asking about the Vocaloid. I don't know what that even means actually as a word, but he also said that a person like a promo thing. You're talking about Ray, I believe her name was. Ray was. I don't know if Ray's going to be a hero or what, or if Hero is just going to be kind of a promo, a virtual reality type, promo person or whatever. They haven't released anything more about Ray. They kind of they teased her a little bit after Adele, but they haven't said anything else about her.
I think that's where it's going to stay until they talk more about her. She's just going to be a thing that existed.
Yeah, so I will say, contrary to the points about mobility and how bad it might be, I think it could ease up this tension of what I said on the last episode, where the game has this period of that. I'll just blatantly say 30 to 35 minute mark where no team can push and no team can take that inhib tower just because, and there's no objectives on the map. So I think and that's why I think Wukong coming out at the time he is kind of good, because maybe he can split push a little bit more and get that tower and maybe alleviate that time of that stalemate of the game. But what do you guys think about that? Because I've said in the past that is my biggest gripe of the game so far, is I get into way too many games where you just can't do anything. We can't get the objectives. The only thing we can do is catch somebody slipping in their lane or their jungle. They're just too far extended.
No, and I think these next three heroes, Wukong, Iggy, and Crunch, can all benefit with split pushing, right? You got Wukong that can literally has his escape ability. You got Iggy who can put up turrets in the jungle, which obviously when the turret goes off, he's gonna know he's gotta start moving, right? Because he's literally on a little burning raptor dude or whatever that has to run, right? so he can go, and then Crunch has his escape ability that we were just talking about, his little double dash that he could use and then get into sprint mode because he's out of distance, to do that. So I think those three heroes right there will kind of help with that as well. Another thing I can point out here as an ADC main, which I don't think PTO really has what I'm looking for, the amount of ADCs problem. Like they have a good amount of ADCs, so it's not like we're needing ADCs, kind of like Predecessor is needing ADCs. So Drongo coming all the way till April, and it's only I guess Grim's another ADC there. So we got two ADCs coming out of the 9 heroes that we're getting, right? 2 ADCs. I think that's fine, and I think that's understandable, because I do think that PTO has an ADC problem in the fact that that's what everybody wants to play. And if you don't get ADC, then they're just going to grab an ADC and go solo, or they're going to grab an ADC and go mid with it. And then you just have people just throwing the game because they're not playing the game to the best possible way that they can. So then you end up throwing a game that way.
Yeah.
The thing about that is, as you've mentioned, the split pushing thing, but also those 3 characters could work really well as counter ADC characters.
Yeah.
With Wukong, you close that distance. And as for the split pushing thing, we have seen video evidence that Wukong's ultimate is still the clones. So he might be an inhib taking machine. If you don't answer Wukong, he will take your inhib before you can respond. And then, facing ADCs in the off lane, if you're doing Wukong off lane, close that distance, beat somebody up. You escape, well, close the distance. Iggy and Scorch, you've got too many things to focus on as an ADC. Do you take minions? Do you take target? Do you take Iggy? What do you do there? And then, Crunch's mobility, again, closing that distance in the offlane if they wanted to do offlane Crunch.
They need to do... Sorry, but I had to go back to Wukong here, because you said that inhib take machine. It just kind of gave me bad taste in mouth and reminded me of Paragon and how bad he was there and how he instantly got taken out of the game because he was doing that. He literally could just solo inhibs by himself. You have to be able to, what Mangu said is you have to take his what is it, 80,000 hairs or 84,000 hairs or what it's called, the clones, that one has to be only ability damage, because towers don't take ability damage, or the ability damage it takes is very minimum or whatever compared to a basic damage or whatever. So that needs to be changed that way so you don't have that issue.
Yeah,
I do agree with you that we do need something to help fix that, but like you give Wukong the ability to use his ability to take down towers and inhibs. That's just that. That was AIDS in Paragon, and I don't want that.
Yeah, I have recommended just only it procs on when you hit heroes. I think it will be completely okay if it just procs on heroes. I agree. Shouldn't proc on towers because that is just ridiculous. Because nobody else in the game will have an ability that hits towers. But I would be completely okay. I think I was talking to Reaper about this. I'll be completely okay if it only procced on heroes. It doesn't have to proc on minions, on camps,
right,
on objectives, just on heroes, and I'd be completely okay. I'm telling you right now, him and Feng Mao together that just sounds scary. I thought, backline better be tight and secure with them.
Right.
Because,
that's the thing. We don't know technically anything about his kit. All we know is that he's got the ground slam and his running animations him on a cloud, and he does have the illusions. We don't know interactions. We don't know how it's going to work with items.
Right.
Technically, we don't even know if he's a stance changer yet.
Right.
I mean, we can take a photo at we could take a look at his ability icons, but that's not going to give us specifically what it does. So, there's that tension of Wukong about being too strong, but also that's what made him fun, was how mobile, how agile, how diverse he could play on his own. So there's obviously that fear there.
Yeah, the one ability that we didn't see that he had was that he had like the pushback, like his staff would just like go crazy long.
I think
the ground smash with it.
I think it was the ground smash. Could either be the ground smash or the pushback. I don't remember.
Depending on the stance.
Yeah, I never played Paragon, so I'm just going off of my assumptions. But one of those two, my guess. I could be wrong. But regardless, it's going to be interesting to see what they end up doing with Wukong. But I think every character coming within the next 6 months is going to change the meta, and not in terms of like a massive change. With Iggy and Crunch, maybe, because again, Iggy, if he has turrets, that's going to change how you play Paragon. There's no way around that. You can't sprint cross map. With portals existing, you come out of a portal running into the solo lane where an Iggy's camping. He just has one turret by that portal. Oh no, you're low health trying to escape. No, there's a turret right there. One thing that I'm going to try and coin is Jungle Iggy. You can pull the camps mad far away from their actual points. So if he gets turrets, he can clear double camps at the same time with no issues at all.
Objective team fight, that's going to be another big thing too.
Exactly. You're fighting in Prime, he throws turrets by the portals. You want to run, you're running past those turrets. You want to run up the stairs? Nah, he's there. Iggy's going to change how you think about Paragon. I think that is a guaranteed thing. Other characters on this list I think will be strong. If they keep Grimm's ultimate the same of lock on through walls, warding is going to be even more of a must and dewarding in that fact too, because if there's a ward and you didn't know it, you got shot by Grimm 3 lanes, or not 3 lanes.
Yeah, that's not that far.
No. From Raptor Pip to Red Buff, like.
Yep. No, that's gonna be good. I mean, out of all of them, like I obviously their own IPs, I'm definitely interested to see what that's gonna be like. Mako's definitely very interested. We already know what Adele does because we got that Menace. What's that website again?
Paragon Codex.
It's
theoretical. Let me know. It's theoretical.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We kind of have an idea.
That theoretical kid, though.
It was pretty good. Yeah.
So.
I think out of everybody here, I think I'm most excited for Greystone, and that's to tailor to the newer player base. He's always been that newer player base friendly character. So
I think even though I'm an ADC main, Richter's my guy. Like I just playing Richter in Fault, playing him in Predecessor. That pull there is nothing more satisfying in any of the games I played so far than landing at Richter pull.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as Mengus mentioned, I think during FTM, with the fact that you're able to jump and use abilities, doing a backwards jump Richter pull as you're jumping back into your own tower, For someone that can pull that off, that's going to be awesome. There's a lot of situations where you can do a jump Richter hook as you're pulling them away, trying to get a better angle on someone. You want to pull someone from a fight in mid lane, there's the massive cliff with the stairs there. Jump off the cliff and pull someone. You just take them out of the fight. Now it's a 1v1 off here.
Now,
or if he's hiding in a bush and you just get yanked. Oh.
Yo, true! Invisible Richter, let's go.
Now, it could be something completely possible. It's hard to do in a 3D MOBA, but like, I played a game, Genesis. It was a MOBA on the PS4, right? Yeah. And they had a guy, Jones. He was supposed to be like Davy Jones. He was a squid, and he had a anchor that he used as a hook. And if you landed that hook, you could land it and turn, and you could technically actually throw them into the tower.
I get
because that's where you put them at. You know, it's like how you kind of use that momentum and throw them. That could be something like also that you possibly could be done. You know, I don't know how it'd be hard to do on a third person, you know, because you're like trying to like, okay, let me whip around here and hopefully I can put them right where I want them to be. But like, it'd be something cool to, you know, to do. But then I could also see it being a little overpowered as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just think that every character on this list is a good addition because they all bring something different. Drongo will be the first silence in the game, like straight up. So having a silence in these team fights, will it silence items? Because if it silences items, you can silence the jungler while they're taking an objective, and then you have smite and they don't. There's a lot of questionable interactions that are going to come from this. So I think this character list is honestly a good list to have to see what to come.
All right, on to the new skins.
Yep.
All right, switching over to the C now so everybody can see it. We got, I don't know how to say, King Mihu? I don't know. The Wukong skin, that skin.
Pretty good guess. So we'll
you're the one who said it.
Yeah, we'll go with it. I mean, that's probably what I'm going to call it, even when it finally does come out. Like, I got the King Mihu skin. That's all I'm going to say, even if I'm wrong. So that is a pretty badass looking skin. You know, I would have loved to see like this kind of fucking, you know, monkey and like, I don't know, what's Jungle Book, you know, something like that. Like this would be a badass looking like fucking monkey in that. So I'm all about that.
In the Jungle Book.
Right. All right. So I do have my gripes though. All right. Here I go. I'm going to be Mr. Negative again. Mr. Chu, you have this American guy, but he's got an Asian name. Like Twin Blast, you know, like why? I get Team Soul Eve and Netmarble are based in Korea. I get that. 100% get that. But that doesn't mean you got to make everything Asian. All right. You do have other, you know, countries playing this game as well. Right. So you don't have to go full Asian on everything. So that just does. I don't understand that. Like, doesn't make sense to me.
Joker gamer. He's from Chinatown. That's it. There you go.
Well, that skin, if that's the one, I'm thinking it's the one with the beige trench coat, right?
Yeah. And he's got the dragon on the back.
That came out in OG Paragon's Lunar Year event. And it was their whole Asian-based theme premise. And to even take it further, the lore for that skin is when he was like in the crime syndicate in the Asian part of the world with Wukong, who left Feng Mao after training him.
That's great.
Look at you go. You made Mangoose proud. You made Mangoose proud there. All right.
So, I mean, you know, with all of these skins, Muriel Wings of Darkness, a dark Muriel with
that Muriel
demon horns, it looks
all
like.
Right.
That looks...
All right. Their skin game is always on point, all right? But I get this is only a headshot, but to me, I feel like I'm looking like at Zorg from Toy Story.
Zerg,
sorry. Zerg from Toy Story.
I'm sorry, yeah, my son watches it a lot. Yeah, I said that, and then I said it looks like, so you got the Super Minion, and then you got like Super Minion's daddy. That's what that skin looks like. But I think the Muriel one's the one I'm most excited for because she has all her skins in the game right now are all the common skins.
Just recolors,
yeah.
So she doesn't have anything. Same thing with the Seraph one.
Yeah, I mean, Seraph is getting her first skin, and that looks interesting.
Yep.
I think the reason these are the skins that are getting brought up compared to, you know, just like, yeah, we're releasing more skins and they're not showing anything, is these are the ones that are going to have those new effects, because Paragon The Overprime has new effects for a lot of the higher tier skins. So, I mean, just theoretical things like Mr. Chu Twin Blast. What happens is instead of his guns turning into just bigger guns, like spirit dragons crawling up his arms and then shooting fireballs out, because that's what they are. They're explosives. There's a lot of cool stuff you can see this. Like, imagine Muriel Ultimate with that skin, and whoever you're ulting to gets dark wings behind them, showing that's the target, with the massive laser as well. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff they can do with these. And I'm excited just to see the effects more than the actual skins, personally.
Right. Yeah. Now, some of these skins, I'm thinking they're not going to come with effects, like especially the ones that are just epic skins, right? We got the Mr. Chu, that's just an epic skin. The Jungle Cat Sparrow, that's an epic skin. But the other 4, those are definitely their own IPs. So those will definitely see what's going on.
Fair.
But yeah, so great point though. I mean, the Seraph one, I'm excited to see what's going on here. Because it looks like she's got some kind of like halo here. So like, what does this turn into when she goes to the dark side? The devil side.
Does it turn?
Yeah.
I would love to see a Heaven and Hell reactor skin.
From the small photo we have, the Decker skin looks cool too. More neon. I'm more cyberpunk. I love it.
All right, on to the next one. What we got here? We got the competitive rank reward, Sparrow, Guardian of Victory.
I've had multiple people say, all right, time to start playing competitive now after seeing this skin.
I don't know. It's
a competitive reward. It's something that it seems the 3 remakes haven't offered yet.
I'm all about competitive reward. I'm going back off of the all right, now she's an Asian elf. Like, I don't I get you're based out of Korea, but not everybody is playing your game is Asian based. Like, I just I don't know. I'm not a fan, but it is what
understandable. To each their own.
Menace, what are your thoughts?
I don't know if this will be. You guys think this will be a legendary skin, or
I don't think so.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, it's cool. It just incentivizes, I guess, rank play a little bit more. Even though they have addressed, or at least in their thoughts somewhere, that they are changing requirements for rank. So yeah, honestly, it's not a deal breaker for me. Skin's cool. I'm not really a Sparrow fan. Maybe if you like elves and you like Sparrow, this is the great thing for you right here. But yeah, I'm not really a Sparrow buff.
I mean, it ties into the elves, Legolas, being an archer, it ties in with all of that stuff. So I mean, I get the elf side of it. But I don't know. It is what it is.
It's something to get for playing ranked, even if it's not something you were going for. Hey, right. You played ranked, you get more than this badge. That's
exactly.
It.
Yep. All right. Preparation for official launch. Once the major updates are completed, we will proceed to our next step, the official launch. Plans for regular development. Additions of new heroes and skins. 2. Improvement of game contents. Improvement of game balances. Improvement of operation system and bug fixes. We're also looking at retaining users, console, marketing, and esports. So that's huge. I think we get farther into this if we go here. All right.
Yeah, I mean,
2023. I was gonna say IQ major updates. Quarter 1 major updates. System for beginners, AI match, smart shop, quick buy, improvement of tutorials. All right. I haven't played the tutorials, so what does the tutorial? What improvements do the tutorials even need?
I think the tutorial improvements are just the tutorial maps, because it's just empty texture boxes.
Okay.
Okay. I think people complain that the tutorials are bad despite having only played the first one, because there's 3 tutorials right now with plans for 3 more later, which is what this seems to be. But the other 2 tutorials are actually really helpful. It lets you go onto the map, shows you where to walk, arrows to follow, but how to buy, how to back, how to use the map, how to ping on the map. Like, it tells you these things, just people don't play the second, third tutorial because I don't think they need to. But
I know a lot of people who didn't play any of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or at least I feel like I know a lot of people. I played. I can show you some screenshots of matches. I'm like, this guy didn't watch any of them. I just feel that way a lot.
Especially because you can first log in and just skip it. You could just hit escape and return to menu. So at least that first one. But who knows? Maybe they are going to add the remaining 3 chapters. I feel like there's still, at least for me, I feel like there needs to be a little more context. Like the first 3 are like real basic. This button does this type of thing.
Right.
Now they need to add a little bit more fundamentals with these other tutorials. So,
okay.
I mean, I guess we'll see.
And the AI match, I think that's going to be good as well, because you got these people who are that are just playing ranked because that's what everybody's playing. So they're like, all right, here I'm playing ranked. Now they can go play AI matches instead and kind of learn different builds there instead. So I'm okay with that.
The AI match, well, it's going to be so good because like the current AI doesn't play the game. It doesn't.
Right.
Straight up, the current AI is just so horrible. Yeah. So I'm excited to get hopefully actual AI matches going for people that are learning.
Yeah.
All right. Conveniences. Item preset system. Smart key UI. Improvement of ping system. What is smart key UI? I don't understand what we're talking about there.
That can...
Smart key UI? No, go ahead, Deborah. I really don't know. I'm trying to think.
I was going to say it's probably going to mean one of 2 things, in my opinion. Either when you just like better mapping of keys if you want to alter them on your own, or it might do smart casting, where instead of just pressing the button, it automatically casts. You can press it and hold it to like get that visual, and then releasing it automatically does it instead of needing to press it, then click to confirm, or press it, it goes off right away. It might be smart cast where you can hold it and that way you still get the visual.
Gotcha.
Sort of. That's my guess. It's one of those 2. Again, I could be completely wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think with item preset systems and Smart Shop, though, having both of those is going to be really good, because then you can make your build and then have it auto as you play the game.
Yeah.
So that way you can just like, I'm going to run this on this character, go into the game, never have to open up your shop because it auto buys when you get back with your personal preset.
So for that point, I have to join Bearded's Negative Nancy charade. I feel like the item preset will be good to a certain degree. However, I feel like it will make the average player, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word? I just lost my train of thought here. Like, they'll get complacent with
yes.
build.
No, and I get you. That's
and in a game like this, you have to cater to. Not every match is going to have the same opponents. Not every match is going to have the same skill base. Not every match is going to have people building the same. So I would hate to see people getting snuffed out, because I mean, if it's to where they can get a preset and then change it in game if they don't want to do it, that's great. But I would hate to see if they choose a preset and now they're locked into it, like OG Paragon, where that's exactly how it was. You picked your cards and that was what you went into the game with. So it didn't matter who you're going against or anything. You couldn't change it. I just hope they just don't get locked into only that, because now you will start to see this curve in people who just want to do presets only just because it's more convenient. But then there's going to be those people who are counter building, which is a mechanic in this game that people have to learn. So.
No, and that's completely understandable fear to have. But the fact that this game already has like recommended items and then all items as a separate tab, I imagine they're just going to add a third tab where it's like your preset, recommended items, all items. That's how I think it's going to go, because that would make the most sense. It doesn't change the UI up too terribly much. So I think that this is what I'm used to building. But if they're like 4 tanks somehow, all right, time to get some tank shred.
Go back to all item. Go to all items, find it, whatever.
Should be fine. Or depending how they do presets, like they might have like, your 5 items in stone if that's what you want to do. And then if there's tank, we've got like these 2 just ready to grab. Sort of like in League of Legends, how you can have your preset be as many items as you want it to be. That way they're just easier to find, but you can have like, this is my core build, this is an optional, this is just strong in general sort of thing.
Right.
So they might have that as well. We don't know what they're going to do with it, but I think I think presets are good. That way you're not a mage in the mid lane and you're open all items. And then there's every
single thing.
Yeah. So presets are going to be good for that reason, but I understand the fear as well.
Yeah.
Also in 23, our first quarter, we're looking at balance adjustments, game balance, and item balance. Item balance obviously it explains itself. Game balance, I'm thinking that's a combined of hero balance, but also like objectives and everything else, like jungle and all that stuff.
Timers, stuff like that.
Yep. Which I believe is something that's that to me that I'm glad they put it there. For the people who don't understand it, but to me that's just like I just know that's coming.
To blanket, yeah.
That's an every patch situation, pretty much. Like there's always going to be some kind of like, hey, we know this is going on. Let's just kind of do a little tweak here and there just to try to see how things go. Others, colorblind mode, spectator system, physics system, custom game competitive mode, controller support, game API, AI jungler. All right. Colorblind mode, I'm all about that. That's great.
100%, please.
Yeah.
I suffer sometimes when it's all of the other players, and I'm like, there's a lot of light green, there's a lot of light red here. If it does damage, it does damage. Thank God I play mages sometimes.
Spectator system, that's great, especially as a content creator. That's awesome. Physics system. What are we thinking they're gonna be doing with the physics system?
I think that's going to address the there might be more mechanics I'm not aware of, but like the dashes in the game, how if you're on a downward slope, you will dash straight across versus going with the terrain, if that makes sense. So it throws people off, especially if you're on the red buff pedestal. And for the characters with the dashes, you can jump and dash into the Prime Spirit Pit because there's no physics. You just go straight across. A lot of people don't know that. I've seen that done a couple of times. I'm like, wow, this is... So I think it has to address with that. Like I said, there might be some more elements that I'm not aware of, but I think that's at least one of them when it comes to dashing, actually going with the terrain versus just straight across.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm all about that. All right. Dapper, any idea on physics system?
I mean, that makes sense. I feel like the dash from red to deer is intentional, though it's not intentional that it shouldn't be if you're going down the duo lane.
No.
You just dash straight instead of down the hill.
Yeah.
Like if you intentionally jump to get that aerial dash, makes sense. But for people that are just trying to go just across the ground. Because the thing about Shimby's dash, for those that don't know, by the way, side note, if you're in the air, Shimby's dash goes half the distance than if you're on the ground. There's actually a difference in the dash distances.
I did not know that.
There is.
Interesting.
I'm glad you told me that.
Okay. Custom game competitive mode. Is that ranked?
So that lets you use the competitive rule set in custom games. Right now, it's only blind pick in custom games.
Okay.
So it lets you pick the competitive rule set. Pick.
I was like sitting my club like that just sounds like it's another queue issue. I'm gonna have a bunch of. I'm gonna have more time.
I've heard so many people hype for it. I'm like, what are you guys hype? It's not gonna be a whole custom MMR. That just makes no sense.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
To your benefit.
Yeah,
I do want to quickly go back to spectator system.
Yeah,
I think what that means, by the way, is in custom games you can already spectate. That's not an issue.
Right.
I think what that lets you do is go into your friends' games as a spectator.
Right.
So like I agree. I think that's what it is.
Or just and then not even just your friends. Like you literally just can see what games are live. Maybe in that server. Because Paragon had this. You could literally just go to like, hey, current games, and you can see that and even Genesis had it. You can go to a current game, you click on it, you can go watch that game.
That's interesting. That would be cool.
Now that game, you watch that game with a delay, right? There's a slight delay to it, right?
God, it has to.
Yeah. So, so you have a delay to it, but yeah, you could. Paragon had it, Genesis had it. I'm sure there's other games that have it, but we've yet to see a Parazombie have it. So that's
awesome because that opens a lot of content ideas that people could do.
Well, that right there is just how you can cast tournaments. You're just watching. You just go sitting there floating around doing tournament castings like that. And Huddy, our guy Huddy, that's a lot of how he did a lot of his stuff for Paragon. Controller support. That's I don't know. That's needed. That I don't know how that hasn't already happened. So I'm excited for that to come, but that's definitely needed. I'm actually out of all of these pair of zombies, PTO is the one that has shown the most, but has also talked the most about being console ready. But they're also the one that is the farthest away when it comes to controller support. So just kind of like, I wonder, like, where's that disconnect? Like, why is there such a disconnect for controller support, but you guys are also visually, from what we've seen, being the most console ready?
I will be the bad guy on this statement. The game is on PC. Their importance is the PC. The controller support should probably come later on down. I'm not bashing my controller PC players out there by any means. I'm just thinking on the sense of priorities. When they have a PC game that supports the PC controls, and that is what is important to them. And the controllers on the back end, probably before the console release will come out, but that's just my two. Like I said, I'll be the bad guy on that statement. You guys can hate me, but
I mean, you're not wrong by any means, but it's also like, I don't there's PC players that are going to play with the controller no matter what, right? Yeah. I mean, look at the game Rocket League. Like, I don't know anybody who plays Rocket League with mouse and keyboard, right? Yeah. Even if you're on PC, you're playing with a controller, right? Yeah. So like, it just games like that happen. But like I said, like a Predecessor, I don't know how far they are from console, but they also haven't made as big a deal about console. They also haven't shown videos about console. They haven't had their lead developer talking about console in the Discord and about how they got a PS4 kit, all this stuff, right? They haven't made this big of a deal about it. But PTO has, and they're the furthest from it when it comes to an actual controller, support. That's why I'm not saying you're wrong by like, that's the least of their worries, I guess, at this moment. But like, how can you be that far or that close to console, but not have a controller ready?
I think that just a different setting to set up controller support for a PC versus controller support for a console. I don't know how it works, but I'm agreeing with Menace on this one of like, there's a lot of content that they're trying to push out, and controller can come after content for PC specifically.
Right.
It'd be better for them to release console and then controller support for PC, because then people that would be controller on PC might just play it on console anyway.
True. Game API. We all know what Game API is. That's just going to help the third parties go. Do you guys know any third party websites that are already ready to go for this, or no?
I don't.
No. So we obviously have that Paragon Codex, right? That one is probably most likely going to be one that we could use eventually, but other than that, I don't know anybody else.
I haven't looked into it yet. I'm a creative type. I prefer just doing my own things. I'll think of the build I need to do. I'll make dumb ones. The stats are in the game, honestly. For a lot of them, there are a lot of already in-game profile stats. You can see how many games you've lost, how many total kills you have in a character, average kill. Like, it doesn't feel like I would need to go to another website to check those stats when the game already just has it. So, and then you get, custom item precepts coming up. Obviously, an API is just going to be good in general, but I haven't had a reason to look into one.
AI jungler.
There's no current AI for a jungler because I imagine that's pretty difficult to program. Fault struggled with that, among other things. But programming a AI to pick jungle camps, pick order, gank lanes, go back to jungling, that's going to take time. So I feel like that's why they had to put it as something separate, because programming an independent roaming, farming, ganking character would be difficult in my opinion.
But wouldn't that come in the AI match?
Yes, but I think that's something they're putting separate because it's so important for them to mention. I don't know. But I just feel like that's something that'd be difficult, so they want to mention that.
Only talk though.
I also feel like AI match is something entirely separate because you can put AIs into custom matches right now, and that's how you would do it. But I think AI match is going to be a separate game mode than custom match. So if you wanted to have,
but didn't you just? Laners, but also didn't you say that the AIs right now don't actually play the game?
No. Like you can have laners, you can have offlane, mid lane, dual lane, but there's no option to pick a jungler. So this gives the jungler option.
Okay, so that's what that's for then. They're going to give you the option for that then, for the custom match to put an AI jungler. Okay. that's a different situation, because I'm sitting there thinking, all right, if we're getting AI match, you could go literally. I could pick one character. I'm gonna have 4 AI teammates and 5 AI opponents. I'm like, that would have to be an AI jungler somewhere. Like, are you saying I have to pick jungler? Like, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, all right, so that's what that's standing for.
AI
Got
for
it.
a jungle character. You can only pick laners for AIs, and that's
So if you want to feel really good about jungling, just go to a custom, pick jungle. You got no opposition. It's you in the whole entire map.
it's good for practicing routes. That'd be about it.
I'm never getting invaded. This is awesome. I'm so good at jungle.
Oh my god, my jungle Narbash is going perfectly in this AI match.
All right. And last one. Upcoming major system updates. You guys think this is a timeline? Do you guys think this is like, what do you guys think we got going on? I mean, obviously, what we got: a console, hero mastery system, battle pass system, replay system, user manner rating system, and emotes.
So I would assume it's a timeline, only because it's using that same format. Now there's no dates, and I get that. But if it's not going to be a timeline, there's way many more different ways to express this.
Yeah.
But I would assume it's some sort of timeline as in what will get done first. Now, granted, this is upcoming major updates. So all of this is supposed to be
Throughout the year.
No, not even throughout the year. This is after the first quarter. So after March, April timeframe is when I guess the ball can get rolling on, maybe get some more insight on some of these things. Because if it is chronologically, then again, I'm not saying this is by any means, and console can be coming relatively soon for this year, and then obviously Hero Mastery, Battle Pass, and all the other stuff. But what do you think?
It looks like a timeline. It just straight up does.
I think it looks backwards.
Backwards?
I think it looks backwards.
I actually don't.
As in what? Read it backwards?
I think consoles last. I think emotes first, and I think that's how it goes. I mean, look how. I mean, you're gonna tell me all of these big things are happening, and all of a sudden we're just gonna randomly just get we're gonna get a hero mastery system, but no emotes to go with that mastery. What? Like that doesn't.
So I think emotes is a bad choice of words. I think they're talking because I got a reference to OP episode. They're talking about the not the ones that pop up over your head.
No, but them dancing. Them dancing.
Yeah. To do motion
like Decker
for all that.
Decker doing it's already in the game. They don't have to do motion capture.
They're doing their own. No, they have that. I'm not denying that emotes exists already. I'm saying if they want to do their own, they even brought it up in the current most recent developer commentary thing. They're motion capturing some of this stuff.
And that's fine, but I mean that could be like a tier 4 emote for all I care. I'm just saying, like, for emotes to be implemented in the game, I like literally Fault did it within, it was instantly. They had them. And Fault's not, we all know that Fault wasn't that great of a game. Fault was a great game. Don't get me wrong, I love Fault. But I mean, in comparison, obviously it's dead. It's dead for a reason. Why did it die? Because they ran out of money. But they had emotes, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They didn't have console, right? Consoles, I'm not saying that PTO can't get there. PTO can definitely get there. I'm just saying a user manner rating system. That's to me saying, hey, that's Overwatch is like, hey,
upvote system.
Yeah, upvote, downvote. Hey, this guy did a great job. This guy, that's easy. You can implement. All right, here we go. We're gonna vote on this guy.
So I get what you're saying. The only reason I think it's the console, then hero, then battle pass, is because if they do console release first, then people on console aren't behind on hero mastery. Then people in console aren't behind on the battle pass. Because if PC gets the battle pass first and hero mastery and then console releases, the people on console are just going to be behind. So if console comes out first,
people on console are already behind as it is. They're behind now.
Well, I mean, yes, but I mean,
so that's got nothing to do with it. I'm sorry, I get what you're saying, but that literally has. That's they're going to be behind no matter what, because all these games released on PC first, so PC already has the lead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not denying that. I'm saying on these features that no side has yet, That's why. And again, it looks like a timeline. It doesn't need to be, though. But the only reason I say it looks like one, outside of the visuals, like they had the first photo, the Paragon Overprime roadmap, that was giving the same information kind of, but not in this sense. It would be very weird for them to do this in a non-timeline sense and then also have it be backwards. And I get what you're saying. It'd be easier to implement in the inverse way. But I feel like just having console, then they don't need to do everything twice. If they do console first, then they don't need to do Hero Mastery for PC, then Hero Mastery for console. Then they don't need to do PC Battle Pass, then console Battle Pass.
But all right, so let me switch over here real quick.
This is just what I.
No, you're right.
Technical knowledge.
And I'm pulling up the very first thing, like the roadmap that they put out, right? And it does say console first, but then it says the mana rating system, emotions, replay system, then Hero Mastery, right? So it's not even in the same order as this one.
Yeah.
So it would console, user rating, replay system. They don't even say Battle Pass, and then it says emotions, Hero Mastery. Like it's all over the place there. So it's like you can't even use that as like, hey, it's going in the same order as the front one. It's like, well,
either way, console's top of the list for both of them.
But okay, but all right, but that's just marketing.
Yeah.
That's just marketing. That's the console is the market. Like, put a tweet out. Have any of these games put a tweet out? And what's the first comment you read on a tweet?
Console win.
Exactly. So this is just marketing. That's all this is.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, all right, let's market this way. But ideally, that's actually the reverse timeline. Reverse that, and all this comes out that way. Because hey, emotes easy, user mana rating easy. We can put those in the games right now. Literally, you can load the game right now. Those are already in the game. It could be that quick, and everything else. So replay system, that's a little harder. All right, Battle Pass, I could see Battle Pass and replay system being switched. I could definitely see that being switched because Battle Pass, that's just like, hey, giving us the skins that you guys currently have. We could just grind for them, But then also maybe they want to put more skins in the game. So Battle Pass being behind replay system, that's fine. But I just think I look at that. I think it's a reverse order. That's just how I feel. Like it's like easiest to hardest. It's actually listed hardest to easiest right now.
Or we don't know what Solar's going to do.
Or because that last dev blog or whatever you want to call it, when Ranger was addressing. Ranger was addressing the exponential dip in players. That could probably be why console is on that priority list, just to get those new players in, see if they can do something, or maybe they're doing something already to test when console comes in to probably retain some of those people.
Let's talk about that with Dapper then. Let's talk about that dip.
Okay.
All right. So Menace, what you're saying there is like they can bring console out to help with that dip. All right. Even if, and this is where I'm standing in this situation, you bring console out, yeah, you're going to get an increase, but you're going to go right back to that dip until you fix the reason that you have that dip, right? Now, like you said, Menace, we're PC players, all right? Controller support is not that big of a deal right now. That's least priority, okay? We're PC players. PC players aren't leaving this game because there's not console players. Mm-hmm. We're not like, hey, I don't want to play because I don't got console players. That's not why PC players are leaving right now. But bringing console players in isn't the reason that everybody's going to dip. Everybody's dipping for a reason. Now, I don't personally know the reason that everybody's leaving. All right, we got skins, we got a store, we got a game, we got ranked mode. What is the reason? All right. Now, they did go over in the developer's diary some of the things that Rangers talk about changing. The speed of the game, certain things, sprint mode. They're talking about making some big changes, right? And those are some drastic changes, actually, compared to what this game is supposed to be. And we talked about that last week. And Dapper, we talked about, if you saw it or not, but the last episode, we talked about if we make those changes that were put up in the developer's diary, you're pretty much trying to make another predecessor, right? And I think that would be a bad move for PTO because PTO's got such a good following that keep the following. If you make that drastic change, you became a Paragon again, and you're doing what Paragon. You went from a version 42. Hey, we got this. Now we're going to that.
Yeah,
it's Paragon the Overprime is in such a weird position because it's equally trying to be its own game, and that's been mentioned by the developers and by people in the community as well.
100%.
But But the issue is that people in the community still want to treat it as if it's a Paragon game. And obviously the title being Paragon, the characters, the way it's being treated, a lot of people can treat it like, yeah, it's understandable to compare this to Paragon or even Predecessor. But I never viewed them as the same game. God forbid, they're so different. They barely are. They only have same characters and that's it. And even then, characters are drastically changed. I think that the part of the reason PTO isn't keeping retention, or part of, is because people are expecting a different experience than what they're getting. And that's part of the issue. People are expecting to get the Paragon experience. They're expecting to get a MOBA experience, but that's not what it is. It's a brawler with MOBA aspects, with decent MOBA aspects too. Jungle camps, farming, neutrals, towers, that whole thing. Farming, buying items, stuff like that. You get that aspect, and quite well. A lot of what was brought up, though, is people were talked about, ganking is too effective right now, so why lane? Well, that's not what the point of the game was. Paragon Ranger even said, it was supposed to be 70% fighting, 30% farming. And that's kind of what the game is at right now.
So that is what the game is at.
Yeah. but people didn't want that because it's not what they're used to. It's not their experience. And that's part of. And here's
the issue. I've said this from the beginning when they first announced that they said, hey, our name is now Paragon The Overprime. All right. This is the issue with that. You take the name Paragon, your marketing, now all of a sudden people search, oh wait, Paragon's back. People get all excited. They get to have their game back. And then they come in and they go to play. This isn't Paragon. And they don't understand that. And there is no marketing saying, hey, this is a different marketing, this is a different Paragon. It's just called Paragon The Overprime. They don't know what the Overprime means. They don't know anything about that stuff. They didn't know that they didn't play CBT1. They didn't play CBT2. They didn't do any of this stuff. They're coming in fresh. They come in, they're like, nope, that's not what I was thinking, and I'm leaving. And that's the dip. That's what I think. That's what I personally think the dip is. I'm saying I don't know for sure, but that's what I think, that you're seeing this drastic dip, because you get all these Paragon fans coming in, the OG fans, they're coming in, they're playing, they're like, this isn't the MOBA that I want to play.
Yeah, and to piggyback off in the last episode when Windu had mentioned they need to market to a different audience, a lot of the closed beta test, the tournament they did was in Korea. That was a huge League of Legends presence. So many names, League of Legends names that I've seen, and so many League of Legends influencers. I think they're tailoring to the wrong genre. Whereas Windu, and I'm quoting him again, as he said, tailor the game to the Paladins community or the Overwatch community even. I think it will be more effective in that way than trying to go League of Legends and anything similar in that aspect. So
I think also it's same style game. Taylor, you start targeting a Pokemon Unite crew. Let them come in. It's one tower. Go to the core. It literally is the same situation. It's almost identical game. I don't know if it's got a sprint mode. I don't play Pokemon. I don't play any Pokemon game ever, so I don't know. I just know that it exists. Right? I know that it exists. All right. So, but I mean, that right there, you can target them. I'm not saying that, people are going to come over, you're going to get a good amount of people, because obviously people are playing Pokemon because it's Pokemon, right? It just same way people are playing Pokemon Unite, even though it's not any of the other Pokemon Black or White or whatever, any of those Pokemon games. It's completely drastically different. They're playing because the name Pokemon's on it, right? Yeah. The same as people playing, they're coming over here to play this because the name Paragon's on it. Because so it's Paragon's on it. It's like, oh, sweet, my game's back. And they come play, and it's like, this is not what I thought I was playing. And you're seeing that dip.
And that's kind of the harsh thing I have over the community, not the developers personally. That I have more of a gripe towards not all of them, the very negative, outspoken people about Paragon The Overprime. Those are the people that I find aren't helping this game. People went to Paragon The Overprime Steam page and review bombed it within an hour of playing the game. So 1-2 games, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, this isn't this isn't the game I wanted. This isn't what I was hoping for. This isn't And I'm like, I've been playing this game for an hour. How many hours do I have on this goddamn game? It's a lot. I have.
And while you're looking that up,
this game.
While you're how many?
Yeah, 100. I got days at this point.
Yeah. 172 hours into this game.
Okay.
And, like, I enjoy it obviously. But it's because it offers something fresh. It's not marketed correctly technically, but they do. They say this. No, they haven't really marketed yet. That's why it's one of the things being brought up later this year. Actual marketing.
Yeah.
And that's part of the thing as well, is like everyone needs to keep in perspective. Both this and Predecessor, barely a month old. This is also still early access. Full release isn't even there yet.
Yep.
They're talking about full release in these major updates.
And that's something that Mangoose and I, and even Windu, and anybody we've really had on any of these shows that we've done, has said that Steam really needs to fix their issue, and Steam allowing somebody to review a game with not even having a full hour of gameplay, like that's an issue. Like, just because somebody downloaded the game, they're allowed to review it pretty much, and that's wrong. I mean, that might be, I might be over, maybe, that's whatever.
A fair thing.
It might be, do you actually have to play it or whatever, but like, there's some, we've seen one on Fault before. I can't remember what it was, but we see one where you could pull up and they played like 5 minutes of the game. And it's like, how do you can't even like queue up that fast. Like, what are you talking about? Like, how do you have a review of that? Like, come on now. Like, so yeah, Steam needs to change. I don't think they need to go as far as Epic and not allow anybody to read a review at all. Like, all you can do is see a rating. Like, you get to see a star rating. Like, hey, this is the rating it gets. I think, because that's what I love. I go to Amazon, right? I look at something. I'm trying to look for something. All right, is this good? The price is great, but let me check the reviews, right? I get to read actual customers' reviews and see how it was and how they thought about it, right? That's good, because they actually got the product. They actually had to try the product, and you can read and decipher those ones that, hey, this is just somebody stupid. All right, this is just somebody hating, right? But like, you need, like, Steam has the ability to be like, hey, you can't review until you actually play an hour plus of this game. That's what needs to happen. And you need to actually play the game, and you don't have those people, because you have it on both sides. You got the Pred fanboys that might go and review bomb, OP. You got the OP fanboys that go review bomb Pred, and it's like, it's benefiting neither games here. Like, it's like, if you got legit, feedback, put it in there. Like, that's all, because both these games need that. They need the feedback. So give them the feedback and let's go. So Steam needs to fix that, in my opinion. Well, and a bunch of people.
I'm going to the Steam review page right now. Anyone with over 10 hours into the game, all positive. The negatives I've seen, 0.2 hours, 0.9 hours. There's
I don't even know it says it on there.
Yeah, it'll say you on there. Yep.
The review.
How long they played it.
Yeah, it tells you how long they played it. When
do me a favor, read that one that's 0.2 hours.
Privacy policy issues. That's it.
Right.
And only because in their privacy policy, they had to cater to Korean laws. Right. Nobody reads that. They're like, oh, there's this one line where they have to like collect personal information.
But they did fix that, though. It doesn't.
They literally made a patch saying, they did an update saying, we're reviewing this so that way it doesn't seem as invasive, because it wasn't. It was for the Korean laws. It's for the laws of a separate country, and that's what a lot of these are. Somebody even with 9 hours. I mean, said, like, now in that, I don't want to be that negative Nancy, but in that guy's 0.2 hour defense, right? So, I mean, technically, is he able to write a review? Is that person able to write a review, even though like they didn't actually fully download it? Because would you continue doing it? Like, would you
make it past the privacy policies?
Yeah, you're like, hey, I'm not gonna give me. So can you still write a review on that situation? I don't know. That I don't know. But I mean, like, okay, when you read something, right? I download an app on my phone, right, and it comes up, hey, you accept these terms, whatever. The thing is, the issue they did here, in my opinion, they put on there, hey, this is what's happening. And it's basically saying they give the right to fucking just read your fucking computer, right? Now, I'm not saying that the phone app doesn't have the ability to do that, but it just says, hey, accept these terms. It literally put you less terms on there. It doesn't say, hey, we're going to take everything you have and we're going to use it. And it might even do that. I don't know, but it just says, accept these terms, right? And it's all it is. And you can read deeper into it if you wanted to. Nobody reads the terms of service. right? Like you said, they're not reading into it to find out that it's actually Korean-based stuff, but it's like
and that's why they rewrote it. That's what that update was for.
Right,
Like,
and that's where they messed up.
Said,
so what's the point?
But it's already gone now. It's already gone now. So now that review does nothing.
Right, but that review is still there, and that's where that's where PTO messed up, and that's the mistake they made, and that's what they're learning from it, and that's fine. Yeah. But what about you said there was a 0.2, you said there was a 0.9?
There was a 0.9 hour review.
What's that one say?
So that one, again, brought up the pirate policy thing, because that's just what people do, because it's the only thing they could complain about early. But they also mentioned how it was a cash grab of a game, how it was predatory with its microtransactions. And if you look at predecessor PTO in any capacity, there is no incentive to buy the currency unless you want cool affected skins. Other than that, there's literally no reason.
Well, all right, but now you love making me the bad guy here, Dapper. All right,
I like making good points.
So the devil's advocate side of that would be at that time for you to get, but when that first released, for you to get ranked. And for you to be able to play ranked, you had to buy the character, or you had to wait forever, however long it took you to grind out to unlock all of those characters you had to unlock, plus to get to the level you needed to get to. So that was something that they could see that, hey, this is what they have going on here. But I mean, that one out of the two that you've read, that one I would say that one you could read. You as a intelligent gamer could read that one and say, hey, this is just somebody bitching, right? And move on, right? Let me read another one. Let me because that's what and I'm just saying this for everybody watching, everybody who's wanted to play these games. When you go in and read these reviews, read the negative ones and read positive ones, right? You got to read positive ones. When you read a positive one, is this just a fanboy just fucking being a fanboy? Or is this somebody that really enjoys the game? Right? Because you want to find those, right? You want to find somebody that really enjoys this product. And then you got to read the negative ones. Like, all right, is this just somebody just bitching because they want to bitch? Or is this a legitimate gripe? And then you find those things, and then you got to weigh those cons, right? Make sure you actually review. If you're going to go through and review these, go and review it. But this game especially, right? It's free. Give it a try. No matter what, just give it a try.
Yeah. And, looking at the positive reviews, because, we don't want to.
Yeah, let's go.
Here. So the positive reviews, one's like a positive review and it says, please add all remakes of the original characters. And that's going to happen. Same with Predecessor as well. But that one's got 71 hours on the game. There's a 67. This game has better footstep sounds than Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. 213 hours. Like, all the good reviews, for the most part, are over 10 hours, over 20, over like 50 at this point. Like,
now the issue, like, I love the review, right? Us as gamers, that's a hilarious review. But like, is that a good enough review? Like, what you just said, you're just making a joke, right? But you didn't give somebody like, hey, I'm actually going to play this game now. Nobody's going to play this game. Oh, better than Call of Duty? All right, let's go.
I picked some fun ones out.
No, but that's fine. I'm just saying, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, you have to find those reviews. Like, you have to find a good positive and you have to find good negatives. And I meant that on purpose, right? Because it's actually a true negative. It's not somebody just hating. And you got to find
constructive criticism.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, but there are real ones. Like,
yeah, give us a real one.
They're pretty long though. Those ones that you're looking for.
Here's looking at them right now. Yeah, here's a short good one though. Dev team listens to complaints and reacts extremely quickly. Heard pricing was an issue and in under 24 hours made great changes to free hero accessibility and skin pricing. Gameplay is great. Combat feels buttery smooth and impactful in the right ways. Love the successor to Paragon.
There you go. Yeah, then that's a good one. That's a great one. That right there will give you read that one like, okay, let's try it out.
Mm-hmm. It mentions what the devs do and they react. And that's what I love about Soul Eve team is they react. Prices are too high. Lower the price of the actual bundles and also how much it takes to get characters and skins. So good reaction on them. There's a lot that I love about Soul Eve, but
No, that's all good. All good. And I am very happy to see where they go. The roadmap, it gets me very excited to see what's going to happen here. I think Team Soul Eve, they've already proven they can do a lot. I'm hoping that this roadmap, they didn't show that they're going to, they have too much, bitten off here, because not only do they have that many heroes we're doing in Q1, but they're also their major updates they plan on for Q1. And that's a lot to do. So let's see what they got to do forward, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
There's a lot to look forward to, and I think people need to give PTO the chance of think of it as a separate MOBA. Yes, it has the Paragon name. Yes, it's got the characters, but think of it as a completely separate game than Predecessor. Don't try and lump those two together. It's bad for both games,
or Paragon,
or even original Paragon.
Yeah.
It's bad for all of the mentality there, and I think they should survive together, Predecessor and Overprime, because they are so different. You get different experiences from both.
Yeah. Nope, I agree.
I would love to see a collab.
Huntress
invades Atlas or whatever.
Make a roll through.
The Predecessor. That would be the moment right there. That'd be the day the world stopped for a second.
That's just the thing. I think the community needs to.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine somebody playing Predecessor and going like, "Why is that guy sprinting so fast? What's going on?"
Oh God!
The Paragon multiverse collides. So yeah, make a character who has like dimensional space, reality augmentation, and just get the two to collide. That'd be hilarious.
What needs to happen is Predecessor needs to release a character that has a sprint mode as a skill, as a passive, whatever.
Oh my God.
There's a lot to look forward to when it comes to Paragon the Overprime.
Call him Overprime.
Yeah.
Yep.
Call him just Prime.
Yeah.
Regardless, I think that with what's to come, especially with Wukong being this month, just be excited for the creativity, because that's what Overprime rewards, creativity. If you play in a slower manner, you can just farm, go back, farm, go back. You can totally do that. To each their own. But if you want to be a brawling fight as soon as you get there, Paragon the Overprime can reward that if you do it correctly.
So I as a dual lane main, as an ADC main, I'm gonna, if you want to farm and go back and farm and go back, don't play in the dual lane. Yes. Play somewhere else, because that's where the 5v5 starts. That's where the 4v4 is. That's where everybody just goes to dual lane all the time. So if that's what you want, don't go there. Play another lane. Play somebody else.
We're all in the off lane. Then you can just farm with literally.
Yep. Go there.
Basically uncontested. So
go there. That's what I would do. So, all right. Well, we're getting towards the end of our conversation here. We've already been going for a little bit. So let's start with our closing remarks to the community, the devs. What do you want to do? Let them know where they can find you, what's going on with you in your life. So we'll start off with Dapper. What do you got?
As for closing remarks for the dev, I think people would enjoy very creative effects, akin to what they do with Shinbi and Rampage, where he throws the snowball and she has actual sleighs for spirits. More creative stuff like that, where it's easy to do something epic and awesome all the time. But sometimes it's fun to do a little more jolly, a little bit more cartoonish sometimes. So I think continuing that form of creativity is what the devs should do. As for myself, I've been streaming Paragon The Overprime throughout the week of various times. But as of Wednesday, so in 2 days, the 11th, at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 EST, I plan to host an ARAM night where I do custom games. Everyone picks mid lane, nobody picks a character, and that's what it's going to be. So I'm planning to host that again at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you want to show up to that, I do have a Discord. I can't throw it up here, but it's fine. But you can just come to my channel and you can figure it out from there at Dapper Dice for Twitch and YouTube as well, though I'm more active on Twitch right now.
All right.
I hope people can show up for ARAM night, because those are tons of fun and very chaotic.
Do you plan on doing that every Wednesday night, or is that just going to be just that one Wednesday night?
We're going to do just this one for the first time, because I want to see the turnout rate, see how people are enjoying it.
Copy that.
The more people that turn out, the more I get that statistic. So please, people show up.
All right. Menace?
Yeah, everybody. I am Menace Rex again, and thank you guys for everybody for hanging out and chatting with us. As for the most part, as everybody still knows, I am still in this moving phase. I do start my new job this Thursday. So once that schedule gets solidified, I'll be able to provide a better schedule for you guys as far as content creation goes. I'm aiming for at least getting 2 streams in, starting next week. At least 2 streams in. So let's see how that goes. But as always, guys, you can find me Menace Rex on all social media. I keep it all the same. But yeah, that fight lives on for another day.
All right. And as for myself, Dapper, I will not be able to make it to the ARAM, sadly. But I also just picked up my first coaching gig. I am my daughter's 5th grade basketball coach. We had our first. I didn't get to coach my first practice when I became the coach because I was still in St. Louis. But I got back in time to coach the first 2 games, and we went 1-1. So we're doing all right. And so I'm practices on Wednesdays. So it literally is during your time that you're doing the ARAMs. So good luck to you on your ARAMs. I hope you get a great show out. Again, everybody here, go show Dapper some love. And if you're watching on YouTube, the links will be in the links down below, in the description down below. So for those of you that made it this far, as Windu likes to say, we'll give Windu his love here. Sorry you couldn't make it, but let's leave a GG in chat or GG in the comments down below if you made it this far. Appreciate you for making it all the way. And myself, though, I stream here live. If you're watching live, I'm right here. So come back and hang out tomorrow. We'll be live again Tuesdays and Thursdays, playing either Predecessor or Paragon The Overprime. And then I also put videos on YouTube of both those games as well, trying to get those content. I did reach my goal of 200 subscribers, so that's awesome. Let's get there. Yeah. Now the next goal, let's hit 300. Let's keep growing. Again, you can find me on every social as the Bearded Wolverine. I think Twitter, you got to do T_B_Wolverine just because it was too long. Twitter's trash. Just kidding. Love you, Twitter. Give me that blue check mark. Anyways,
so you can pay those dollars for that.
No, I want it for free. I want it for free. So, but other than that, thank you all for coming to hang out. We are going to put this on the stream ending stream. We're going to raid a Paragon The Overprime streamer right now, and I hope you all had a good one. We'll be back here next week talking about anything that's going on. Hopefully we got something spicy to talk about coming from PTO developers. All right, so
hopefully we
get one. Hopefully we get Wukong that quick. That'd be great. So on that note, talk to y'all later. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.